Hey everyone, it's me Paul of Emerald Enclosures, just giving you another small update on my newest Paludarium tank, the one with the branch waterfall. The water is slowed down a little bit. I'm not sure why that's happening exactly, but I have a suspicion that it could be because the branch itself has absorbed a lot of the water, so by the time that it hits the water, it's slowed down quite a bit. But as you can see also, if you notice a difference, I have gotten my new lights in. Pure white LEDs. A lot better than the violet hue that my tank had before. I'll be posting a before and after picture in my post just to show you the difference in it. I don't have much to report other than the plants looking absolutely gorgeous now that I got good lighting. The moss seems to be rooting in pretty well. I installed fans on the top of it to aid in air circulation. I picked up a module off Amazon for about 10 bucks. And the fans themselves were about $1 each. Got those off eBay. They do a good job. They turn on for about a half hour after about a 1 hour and 30-minute cool off. Tomorrow I'm going to be cutting a piece of plastic so I can seal this up and then make holes for the fans and sandwich them in between. As for the water, it's still that brownish color. I'm thinking the reason might actually be the water has turned into, if anyone is familiar with the idea of worm composting, I think it's turned into worm tea. Water, there's actually a small leak off the waterfall in the back. Not a big deal. I'm not too worried about it. I'm trying to just get that into focus, but you can see the water hitting that leaf back there. What I'm thinking is going on is that the water is passing through the substrate, moving down underneath the false bottom, and then it eventually reaches the little pond over here. And that forces some of the nutrients that are underneath into the little water area. If it doesn't settle down by the time that I'm going to go buy the frogs, I'll probably just drain the water and then fill it back up. But honestly, I don't really think that it's going to cause that big of an issue. I mean, my only other theory about the coloration of the water is my water here has turned into coffee, which is part of the substrate level as I make my vermicompost out of eggshells, coffee grounds, leaves, and a couple of other ingredients. But so far everything is still doing well. Chances are the Nubius there and the various mosses that are growing along the log are going to end up absorbing all that nutrients, and it's probably going to clear itself up. I just find it very interesting. There are also worms that seem to be living in the water area. Worms themselves don't have lungs like we do, and they absorb oxygen through their surroundings, through their skin. So, despite what you may think, worms don't drown immediately in the water. The reason that they come up out of the ground when it rains is more about the fact that they can move along the surface without having to worry about drying out. But that's my update so far. If I can finish that plastic cover for the top, I'll make another video tomorrow so you can see. Oh, fans just turned on. That was lucky. without having a full ceiling hood, the humidity doesn't stay up very high. It's good for the acclimation process because it stops a lot of fungus growing, but either way, the springtails break it down, and eventually all the fungus in the tank is going to disappear by the time I get the dart frogs. But thanks for watching my video, and I will continue to give updates as I see fit. No. Sorry, I just like the moss. Moss is definitely my favorite part of any sort of vivarium. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hey everyone, this is Paul of Emerald Enclosures here, just to give you a small update. I've got around to finally finishing the well, not got around, I'm actually ahead of schedule, but I did finish the canopy. I added a spot here so I can run all the wires. Can't see them from the front, which is good. I made it so that it fits the inside of this lip. A little bit later I'm going to be adding some door sealant. That way that less humidity escapes. But so far, the humidity in the tank is reading at 99% and 84.9 degrees Fahrenheit, which is excellent. When keeping dart frogs, which is what's going to be contained in this tank, you're going to want a temperature of anywhere between 70 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Depending on the frog, of course. Some frogs prefer a little bit colder and some frogs prefer it a little bit warmer. I made slots to add the fans, that way I don't have to have them dangling on the side if anyone noticed them before. The humidity, hygrometer and thermometer probes hang out on the top, out of view. I also made this little latch here, which I need to buy a handle for, using some clear acrylic hinges, and that way that I can get in there with my water whenever I need to get in there and do any of that sort of work. By the way, anyone who has to water plants on a regular basis, I highly suggest this I don't know exactly what you call it. And it's kind of like a hose, but it's pump action. It builds up air pressure by pumping the top, and then you get a steady stream of water evenly distributed throughout an entire surface. But so far it seems to be working really well. The lights are great. I'm noticing that the ivy right there, is growing noticeably every single day. I'm probably going to have to start cutting it on a regular basis. This plant here moves towards the light every day. By the end of the day, it's usually facing up towards the light. And this green, light green and dark green one also is the same. All the plants are starting to move towards the light, which is really, really cool. Oh, and just so you can see, I'll turn on the fan. I mean, it's not like there's much to see, but pretty blue lights pop up and the fans start to spin. It usually reduces the humidity for a little while, but it's healthy for the tank to start to dry up a little bit every now and then. It's good for the plants, and it's good to keep air circulation flowing. The waterfall is still working, and as you can see there, I need to just turn it on and off every now and then, but I haven't had any real problems with it up until now. And the water pool, while still very dark and murky, seems to be able to support life. I see cyclopses. I think there's a snail in there somewhere still. And the worms seem to have taken to hanging out there. Not in like any, like one or two worms, like they're just moving around in all the time. As long as there's oxygen in the water, the worms will still continue to be able to breathe. Oh look, there's a worm moving down the waterfall there. Worms, while they can be stunned a little bit by the light, it doesn't really bother them as long as they have moisture. Moisture is what they need to get around on the surface of the soil or our walkways when we're when they're outside in the wild. I think that is everything. 67% humidity now. I might have to turn off a couple of these fans to make sure that the humidity doesn't drop too far when I actually put the frogs in. But I have a full month before I have to put them in, so I can do a lot of trial and error before then. But anyway guys, thanks for watching this update video. Soon I'm going to be working on a shell for the top of this tank so I can make it look a little bit more presentable. That way you don't see any of the hardware. And also I have decided that I'm going to be making my own stand. It's not going to be sitting here on my bureau in my living room forever. It's only a temporary spot. Anyway, keep tuned and I will keep making updates. See you later guys. Bye.